Hello students, welcome for this session. I am Professor Naval Kishore from School of Management Studies, Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi. Today I am going to talk about departmentation and forms of authority relationships. Let us see what departmentation is all about. You must be visiting several places, several offices, government offices, where you are instructed to visit to go a particular department. Now, what the department is all about? If you see the departmentation, you will find that it refers to grouping of homogeneous activities into one organizational unit on the basis of spatial and continuous nature of activities. That means there are two things. One is about organization, unit, and the second is about the activities. Now, based on those activities, wherever it falls in that unit of that organization, that will be coordinated with each other, so that it becomes or it falls under a particular department. Because the greatest challenge of the management is appropriate division of organizational activities into departments, because you need to administer your department. Administration has to be facilitated also. Therefore, the departmentation should be such that administration of that department gets facilitated. Now, if you want to define the departmentation, then it refers to the process of forming departments or grouping activities of an organization into a number of separate units for the purpose of efficient functioning. So, what is the purpose? Your purpose is efficient functioning. And for this efficient functioning, what you are going to do? You are creating a particular department. How you are going to create that particular department? Based on the activities which can be put together. That means the similar activities are being put together, and that falls under a particular department. For example, in business undertakings, the term may be division, department, and section. In military, it may be regiment, battalion, groups, and company. And what does all the department do? The impact of departmentation is delineation of executive responsibilities and grouping of operating activities. So, two things again you are doing that. You are providing the responsibilities to the executives who is going to perform that particular duty, one, and second, you are also grouping the activities which puts into that particular department, so that the executive concern of that department, he gets that work done. That means every level in the hierarchy below the apex is departmentalized, and each succeeding lower level involves further departmental differentiation. That means, suppose in the first level you have departmentation, and then you have also grouping of activities which have been put into that department. Then again in the succeeding layer, again you have different departments, and all those activities are being put into that department. Again further there may be various departments or various units, and grouping of the activities would be there at that level as well. Now the question arises, what is the need of departmentation? Let us analyze those needs. The first is, it permits an organization to take advantage of specialization. Now, if there is a manufacturing unit and there are different area of that, maybe production, maybe marketing, maybe operations, maybe the HR, maybe the finance. Now, Suppose if somebody is working in the production department, now in the long run, because he has been contributing to that production activities, in the long run he becomes specialized in the production activities. The person who has been involved in the marketing activities, he gets specialization in the marketing activity. As a result, he may perform the work better than the new person. So the specialization leads to the efficiency in the organization. Next is enables each person to know the role he is expected to play in the total activities of the company. That means, as you all are aware also, that everybody in an organization, he or she is expected to perform a particular role in that organization. He is expected to perform particular activities in that organization. Now, when you are putting somebody into the HR area, the person knows what he is supposed to do there. If you are putting him in the finance area, he or she is aware that what sort of work he is going to do in the finance department. Next, facilitates communication, coordination and control and contributes to the organizational success. If the clear-cut activities are there and that those activities fall into a particular department, now if you want to communicate, coordinate or control that activities, you can contact or you can communicate to the particular department so that whatever information you wanted to send to the department, now that information flows from the departmental head to the worker, that is shop floor workers. In the same way, the activities involved in a particular department may be coordinated also, and wherever there is any deviation from the standard format, the control mechanism may be applied to control that particular activities. Next is provides a platform around which the loyalties of organizational members may be built. Now, when you have created the department, now in that department, the person working in that department, now they are performing the activity to the best possible way, and now gradually they becomes loyal towards the organizational members of that particular department as well as in that particular organization, because the organization also knows that the person working in this department, he is aware of all those activities of that department and he will get the work done in that particular department. Next, enables a manager to locate the sources of information, skills and competence to take certain vital managerial decisions. Now, when in an organization there are 5, 6, 10 departments, now in that departments, the person who is involved in working in that department or the activities which are being performed by that executive of that department, now the general managers also know that who are the persons involved in executing a particular task, that means who is the competent person, who is the skilled persons, so that once the management knows that who is the skilled and competent persons, he may be involved in particular managerial decision also, because that persons may be very experts in the whole activity and their expertise may be used for the managerial decisions also. Now, next is about basis of departmentation. That means how you are going to create a particular department. The basis may be based on the function, it may be based on the product, based on the territory, based on the customers and based on the process or equipment. Let us learn all these things in detail. The first is functional department. Functional department is the most common form of grouping activities prevalent in the organization. You take the task, that task may be divided based on the functions of that task. You take any unit, that unit may be divided based on the functions of that unit. For example, sales department is there. So how sales department has been created? Because the functions of that sales department is to sell the product. And as a result of the selling of the product as an important functions of the sales department, therefore that department has been created. So based on the performance of the activities, you create the department, and that activities may be clearly distinguished from any other task. As I gave you example that if the marketing department is there, so marketing department has a clear-cut activities and they perform that marketing activities, which is a specialized part of that marketing department. Next, functional departmentation may also be carried out at the lower levels of the organization. For example, the function department has been divided into production, marketing, finance, etc., etc. Here you have a president, and the department under that president is production manager, you have marketing manager, you have finance manager, similarly there may be HR manager, similarly there may be logistics manager, and all of them would be reporting to president or CEO of that particular organization. So completely the production functions based on the production activities. Production manager, he looks after all those production activities. Similarly, the marketing manager, he looks after all those marketing activities, and finance manager may look after all those finance activities of the organization. What are the advantages of functional departmentation? First, it is most logical and natural form of departmentation. Obviously, every activity has certain functions. Now, because function is the most important aspect, therefore, you create the department based on the function. So, it is a natural form of departmentation and most logical also. Next, brings about a specialization. Obviously, when you put a person in that department or the activities in that department, now gradually the person becomes specialized in performing that particular activities. Either it is production, either finance or HR or any other activities. Next, ensures optimum utilization of manpower and other resources. Obviously, you are able to utilize the manpower to the best possible way, to the best optimum way in that particular organization, because you are providing the work to that particular person based on the functions of particular department. For example, marketing persons will be providing the marketing activities. So all the marketing activities would be looked after by the marketing. Next, lays emphasis on each and every activities. Obviously, if you are in that research and development activities, so obviously all those activities involved in research and development, you are supposed to perform all those activities. Next, facilitates delegation of authority and thus reduces the burden of the chief executives. See, if various departments are created, now the authorities would also be delegated to the particular manager of that particular department. As a result, the chief executives need not go through each and every activity of the department. It is the departmental head who would be looking after all those activities of that particular department. Next, a specialist can be employed to perform various activities requiring specialized knowledge. if there is a requirement of the specialist, that the services of the specialist may also be taken. Now let us see what are the disadvantages of the functional departmentation. The disadvantages are, first, too much emphasis on specialization, which may hamper the broadening of outlook of various people. See, when I am doing the same repetitive work of finance itself, in that case there may be that the broadening of my knowledge of all those departments may not take place. I may be confined to the activities of the finance only, but in that department you have varieties of activities being carried out in a particular department, and as a result of emphasizing the specialization, what you are trying to do, you are making the people only working in a particular department only. Next, conflicts between different departments. There may be conflicts between different departments. For example, sometimes the marketing persons may give the date of, okay, within this date I will be able to supply my products to you. But manufacturing department, they may not be able to provide that products within that stipulated time. Similarly, the finance department might not be able to provide finance for the manufacture of a particular product. So there may be conflicts among various departments. Next, difficulties in coordination and control of the activities of different departments. As you all are aware that in the organization, coordination and control are very difficult activities, because when you talk about the coordination, then coordination takes place among different activities, it takes place among different people, it takes place among different departments as well. So sometimes when there is a specialization, and as a result of a specialization you have created several functioning departments, so coordination among as well as the control among the departments may be difficult. It is clear that departmentation may reduce the cost through higher efficiency, because you gain higher efficiency because you are specialized in a particular area, in the execution of particular activities, in the performance of particular activities. But sometimes what happens, the savings of this efficiency may not be sufficient to compensate for increased expenses which results through the departmentation. That means you create various departments, and whatever efficiency you save, that might not be sufficient to compensate the expenditure which you are incurring on creation of various departments. Now the next departmentation is product departmentation. As the name suggests, here the emphasis is the product, the focus is the products. So the departments are created on the basis of products, and each department is known as a division. And product departmentation may be very useful in product expansion and diversification. Under the product diversification, all activities related to a product line are grouped together, and you just create the department which is based on the product. So it is very much useful for the product diversification. What happens in the product department? You develop the activities, or you create the department where the authority would be to develop the product according to the nature of demand in the market. For example, the product department, if you have created a product department, then the manager of the product department, he will develop or he will bring out some of the product which is in the demand in that particular market. So therefore, he is authorized to develop that product according to that particular market. That means product department is relatively complex, and a great deal of capital is required for plant and equipment, such as in automobile and electronic industries. Obviously, because it is more related to the products, therefore most of the production activities, manufacturing activities may take place in the product department, and therefore sometimes it may be complex because it depends upon the nature of the products. For example, if it is an automobile, if it is electronic industry, obviously it will be a very complex structure in the organization. Sometimes the company may have different division. For example, there may be metal division, there may be chemical division, there may be plastic division, so on, so forth under the production also. Now let us see that what are the advantages of the product and the departmentation which is based on the products. First, it reduces the coordination problems which are created under functional departmentation. In fact, as you are aware that in the functional departments it is very much clear activities of finance, marketing, HR, logistics, production, etc., etc. Now, it may reduce the coordination problems because in the functional department, in the every department you need to coordinate in all the departments. But when it is the product itself and based on that product you have created the department, in that case the coordination may become easier in that product department. Next, integration of activities relating to a particular line of product, obviously because focus is products. So if there are product line, for example, if you have, let's say that what is called that toothpaste and all that. Now in the toothpaste, in the same product line is there, then there may be gel toothpaste, there may be normal toothpaste, there may be whitened toothpaste, there may be what is called the gum toothpaste, so on and so forth. So because it is in the same line of that product line, therefore you may integrate all those activities of a particular product line and it may be easier for you to integrate those processes. Next is facilitates production expansion and diversification. Obviously, if you wanted to expand your product or you wanted to diversify your product, because it is based, departmentation is based on the product, so that facilitates your expansion activities as well as diversification activities. It focuses attention on each product line. Now let us see the advantages, and the advantages are it focuses attention on each product line. As I said you that if there is a toothpaste, then toothpaste you have the different product line also in that toothpaste, and in that toothpaste the whole product line, now your focus would be the whole product line. As a result, the whole range of that product line they get attention. Next is it leads to a specialization of physical facilities on the basis of products which results in economy. Obviously, based on that particular product, because now what happens, a specialization would be in that particular product itself. So if you are specialized in a product, obviously in the activities you can contribute better. Next is easier to evaluate and compare the performance of various product divisions. Obviously in the product division you have the separate divisions, and now you can easily evaluate, you can easily see the performance of a particular product, which product is doing better in the market, that can be evaluated easily. Next is keep problems of production isolated from those of others. So the product related problems would be related to the products only, therefore other problems may be dealt separately. Let us see the disadvantages. The first is duplication of physical facilities and many functions. There may be the chance of the duplicity of that particular facilities, so that you have to take care of. Next, advantages of centralization cannot be achieved. Obviously here, because the focus is product and there may be different product line also, so sometimes the centralization process may not work here, or that may be complex also. Next, underutilization of plant capacity. because you are again focusing on the product specialization, so sometimes in that category the demand may not be there, so therefore there may be underutilization of plant capacity. Next is difficult for a company to adapt itself to certain changes in demand, technology, etc., etc. If there is a change in the technology, in that case obviously it may be difficult for a company to adapt so quickly according to that changes. Okay, so today you have learned about the departmentation and we'll just continue this. Thank you very much.